Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here. Every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 3 decades plus of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing and regenerating system. It's designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while that may seem like a miracle to some folks, this renewing system is really nothing more than just the way the body works. And welcome to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben, and thank you for being here. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. We got Dave Anderson coming up at the bottom of the hour. He's going to talk to us about viruses and livestock. Many of you know that the virus... the story is, anyway, I don't know what to believe with this whole virus thing, and so I'm just going to take a very skeptical attitude and wait to see how the facts show up. We don't really know a lot of facts. You know, we still don't even know about this virus testing that everybody is basing their statistics on, that you hear about in the media all the time. Nobody's ever asked questions about how this virus is being tested. What is this PCR test? How accurate is this PCR test? Well, it's actually shockingly not accurate, by the way. At least according to one study I saw, it was 80% false positives. The PCR test doesn't even test for the virus, by the way. Do you know this? The PCR test, the virus testing that you hear about in the media all the time, doesn't even test for the virus. It tests for genetic material. How do you know that genetic material came from the virus? How do you know that the genetic material is related to the symptoms? There's so many questions here. So many questions. And I just don't know the answer to it. Anyway, we've got David Anderson's going to be talking to us about livestock and viruses. And I'm going to get your calls a little bit earlier. I want to make sure everybody gets on board. We got a bunch of calls. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is especially important. When there's an immune system problem or when there's an immune system issue like we have today. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Healthy Start Pack, the Ultimate Selenium, even glucogel caps. Did you know glucosamine can help support immune health? Glucosamine is one of the all-time great multifunctional nutritional supplements. Glucogel caps and the Fuchs Z and beta-glucan, that's another great immune system booster. You can find all the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you want to start a longevity business, now is the best opportunity that I can remember. It's always been a good opportunity, but now, as we all move into lockdown and home-based business has become extra valuable as we're stuck in the house. Can you imagine making money from your home just via the internet, just doing Zoom calls, just doing YouTubes and Facebooks and leveraging social media? You work completely out of your home, completely 100% out of your home now. This is an amazing time to do a home-based business. If you're interested in a health-based, home-based business that has helped people now for 20-plus years, call 866-735-2470 or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. All right. I've been talking about meditation for a really long time. I've had a personal meditation practice now going on 32 years, 33 years. And I'm telling you, it is the absolute most powerful strategy for dealing with chaotic times, which we are in. If you've ever been looking for a reason to start practicing, this is an important word, as we talked about a couple days ago, practicing meditation, there's no better time than the present, than the now, which of course that's always true, but especially it's true today. If you want to start practicing meditation, now the reason I say practicing is important because what you do 20 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 1 minute, you only need 60 seconds. You only need 10 seconds for that matter. You can start off with a 10-second meditation. I'll tell you how you do that here in a minute. But if you want to start practicing a meditation, what that means is you're practicing for life. Because life is where you use your meditation, especially when there's chaos. What meditation teaches you to do is it teaches you to return to center, to return to the place where we perceive from. We all perceive from a place, for lack of a better word. It's not really a place, but we all perceive from a ground. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just ponder on that. Ponder the fact that we perceive from a center. Going back to that center is meditation. People say, I can't meditate. My thoughts are going crazy. And that's true. But the meditation is when you say, I'm thinking, and you go back to center. The meditation is in the return. And that's the skill we want to learn. We want to learn to return to a center when all is going crazy. This is what Hemingway said, Ernest Hemingway called it grace under fire. When everything's going nuts and there's chaos everywhere, go back to center, the eye of the hurricane. That's the perfect metaphor. Hurricane is obviously the quintessential example of chaos, but it has an eye. E-Y-E or I, or however you want to spell it or think about it. There's an eye to the hurricane. Meditation is returning to the eye. Yes, you can go crazy with the metaphors, but that's what it is. It's the still center. And this idea of stillness is extremely powerful. Read Ryan Holiday, he's written a lot of books about the ego and about The Obstacle is the Way. If you haven't heard of that book, it's an amazing book, The Obstacle is the Way. And then, which is so cool, The Obstacle is the Way. There's a whole story there. Anyway, he talks about stillness and the power of stillness. It's a Buddhist concept. It's a New Age concept. It's a scientific concept. It's a personal development concept. This idea that there is a still small point. There's the tightest little point at the bottom of at the center of the chaos. The tiniest little still small point at the center of the chaos. That's what meditation is, and it's a powerful, powerful skill. And all it really is returning to that point. So if you're sitting there and you can't stop thinking, just remember you're thinking, and for a second anyway, or 2 seconds, you will be meditating. It's the return. You can use it in life when all crap is when the crap hits the fan. It's the metaphor I'm looking for. Anyway, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's say good morning to Robert. What's up, Robert? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good morning, Ben. You got to me quicker than I thought you would. So
I got what? Okay, good. Good morning. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of calls, and I got a guest at the bottom of the hour. Talk to me. What's going on?
Well, let's get to it. So when last we spoke about a week ago, we were talking about viruses, and you gave me the lowdown. It's just a piece of information wrapped inside of a protein. Doesn't do anything, gets to a host. And the analogy you drew was a book and a library. Our body is a library. So one book is a virus, and then it somehow gets its way inside the cell, explodes, and then from there it spreads to other cells. Is that kind of the way you laid out?
You're headed in the right direction. But here's the point: we have in our cells, every cell has this thing called the genetic code, the genes, the chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of the genes. You know what? We got to go to a commercial. Hang on, because I'll finish it up real quick. I'll try to be as succinct as I can. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Got David Anderson coming up the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about livestock and viruses. Robert, you there? I'm going to be really quick and try to be as succinct as I can, because when I talked about the book being inserted into the library, it doesn't quite say everything you need to say, because the genome, the gene, has a job, and that job is to make proteins. So it's not, the analogy is not perfect, because it's not a mere library. It's a magical library that makes things. It's like you had a library of formula books, right? Imagine a library of various formula books or recipe books, cookbooks. Imagine a library of cookbooks, and this was a magical cookbook that could make food. Are you with me? Are you with?
Yeah.
Do we have Robert?
Yeah.
So it's not just a library, but it's a library of cookbooks that make food. If you can imagine. I hope, is that too confusing? I hope that's not too confusing. I'm trying to be okay, so imagine a library of cookbooks, no mere cookbooks, magical cookbooks that make the food that's in the cookbook, that makes the recipes that's in the cookbooks. That's what the genome is. It makes food. So imagine now a cookbook gets stuck into this magical library of cookbooks. And now it makes its own stuff. And what if that stuff was poison? What if that stuff was like a lousy tasting cake and it just made it? Well, you know what I'm saying? It corrupts the library, the magical library. It's not a library; it's a magical library. It corrupts it, and now the genome starts making the virus. It starts doing what the virus is bidding. The virus hijacks the genome. The metaphors here that are available to us in terms of viruses are really endless, because it's a symbol for something that comes into you and gets you to replicate it. A song, you ever hear of this term called an earworm, E-A-R-W-O-R-M? Jingle writers, people who write jingles and commercials, are always looking for earworms. That is something that sticks in your head and you can't stop singing it. I still remember jingles from when I was a little kid. Do you?
Yeah. Like a hook.
Right?
Yeah,
Those are earworms.
Yeah.
That's an advertiser's dream come true, because now you'll never forget it. That's a classic example of a virus. There's all these examples. In your computer, you can have viruses, etc. So a virus is a wonderful metaphor for a piece of information that inserts itself into you and uses you to replicate it. Go ahead.
What's the ignition switch? In other words, what activates the virus? Is it just...
It's just floating around. Yeah, that's what's so cool. Our environment picture our environment, and I'm talking the oceans, the forests, our bodies, all animal bodies. Picture our environment as a sponge, okay? And picture a virus as water, okay? Viruses saturate the sponge of the environment like water saturates a sponge. They're everywhere. Like water in a sponge. And it's just that there's sometimes some that have a predilection for certain parts of our body, like our respiratory tract. And that's what this is supposedly. Although there's many questions, none of which are being asked by the media, the mass media. And if anybody out there is getting their information from the mass media, you're playing with psychological fire, because the information you're getting is designed to freak you out. Period. Now, I'm not saying I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to go all conspiratorial here. I refuse to do that. But I'm just saying, ask questions. Be a critical thinker. Be a scientist. I'm a scientist. I ask questions. How the heck do they know the test is accurate? Does anybody out there know what the test is? You hear about the test. No. Oh, we need more tests. Oh, they're testing. Now you have all these infections because they're doing all this testing. Does anybody ask about the test? Just fundamental questions like that. All right, Robert, I got a guest on here, or a caller on here, a guest caller / and he's got some interesting things to say. So can you hang on? Okay, good. Thanks for your question. Appreciate it. I don't know yay or nay. I'm not going to go all conspiratorial. I have some ideas, maybe, thoughts, but that's not the point. The point is be a critical thinker. All right. Cozy. What's up, man? First of all, let me introduce you. Cozy, I've been watching your videos, your Instagram. You did a really cool one where you were walking in New York City. I love that one. And it reminded me of a video that I saw on YouTube where some guy went to the hospitals, a hospital, Presbyterian hospital in New York City, and couldn't find any coronavirus people, and then the YouTube was taken down. So I thought of you. And then you had some interest. We talked this morning, and you said you had some interesting things to say about melatonin, so please share.
Yes, and it goes along with a lot of your philosophy. So the point is we all need to calm down. We all need to activate the relaxation response. okay? And this is why I wanted to come on, because I was just doing some research on COVID-19 and what exactly was happening on the extreme end, right? So most of us won't get sick. Most of us won't die. It's targeting, the immune-compromised and elderly population, right? And in the extreme condition of that, right, extreme reaction, you'll get maybe acute lung injury. It'll attack the pulmonary area, the respiratory tract. And so I started doing research, and I found out that there's a thing called an inflammasome, okay? The
inflammasome. Inflammasome, is that what you said?
Inflammasome, yes.
That's correct,
and what this
yes.
And this is targeting the lungs. So I found out, I tried to look at what can suppress it. And through my research, I found out that melatonin can suppress the inflammasome. It actually has a direct target on it. So looking at that, and they did tests on rats, and they saw that when they gave them melatonin, that this acute lung injury was healed. Okay. They also looked at elderly mice, right, aging mice, and they looked at when they were given melatonin in their water, their lung tissue healed. Okay.
That's amazing. Melatonin is incredibly healing because it activates, it's the quintessential relaxation nervous system hormone molecule in the body as opposed to serotonin.
Totally. It's anti-aging, it's anti-stress,
it is.
It's healing. That's why sleep is important, right? So sleep is important
all
because
of that. Absolutely.
That's when we heal. That's the healing time. So I want
and for your brain especially, by the way, for your brain.
Totally. Like it's a strong antioxidant, strong anti-inflammatory. And
as we age, right? We don't make as much. As we age, we don't make as much. Maybe that may have something to do with older folks not sleeping. Older folks don't really sleep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons for that, too. But one of the reasons may be the fact that they don't make enough melatonin. Now, melatonin's a little tricky to supplement with, though, because you can develop tolerance to it. And you got to use smaller doses. You got to mix it up, days on, days off, or nights on, nights off kind of thing. You don't want to take it on a regular basis, I wouldn't think, because you may down-regulate your own melatonin. Nonetheless, as we get older, it's an incredibly valuable supplement. And you know what else is especially valuable for the digestive system? Did you know this?
Yeah,
for the digestive,
totally.
Right? Serotonin and melatonin kind of play off of each other. Serotonin being a daytime substance and melatonin being a nighttime substance. Serotonin is also plays a very important role in the digestive tract. In fact, that's one of its main roles is in the digestive systems. You have a brain in your digestive system, so it makes sense that brain chemicals like serotonin and melatonin would have an effect on digestion. And, of course, the immune system is located in the digestive tract as well. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Cozy. So do you have anything you want to say about COVID or about this whole stuff?
Yeah, I have a lot, but I was just trying to make it as quick as possible.
Give me one thing real quick because we're going to have to commercial. We're going to have to go to commercial.
Quickly, I wanted to see as they tested, these oxidative stress in the lungs of the aged mice. They were looking at glutathione levels. So NAC is super important for the lungs.
Yeah.
Can I stay on over, or you are?
No, I got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour, but that's still great.
And also
Cozy,
zinc
call back whenever, Coach Cozy.
I will.
Coach Cozy, New York City. Thank you so much. Take care. All right, got Dave Anderson coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk viruses and livestock. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You'll find the longevity products at brightsideben.com, as well as pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com. We have my Moments of Truth and other videos at criticalhealthnews.com. And also you can check out our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. We do Moments of Truth as well as other videos, and all the Bright Side shows are up on our Facebook page. Thanks, Nasima, for setting that up. And don't forget to take a look at our blog, pharmacistben.com. All right, I'm excited to have our next guest on. David Anderson is going to talk to us about viruses in livestock. The latest theory, or the standard theory, is that the virus came from animals. And it turns out that there are livestock viruses that can come into become part of the human virome. And so virus spread on farms, and Zika and West Nile have impacted livestock as well as people. Viral infections on farms are something that's really, really important. and also important to understand how to take care of. And Dave Anderson is going to talk to us about it. Welcome to the Bright Side, David Anderson.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Ben. Appreciate the time with you.
What is Barbara horse and livestock drinkers, and what is a livestock drinker anyway?
Livestock drinker is just a watering system for animals that produces water in the most inexpensive way, and the most efficient way, and the most safe way to animals. And that's basically what a horse drinker is, or a cattle drinker, or a sheep drinker. And what is just another way to say waterer.
What does this have to do with the virus, or with viruses in general?
The way viruses with animals, with all this talk about the coronavirus, we kind of forget about our own animals, especially our livestock, which are really vulnerable to these animal-borne illnesses that start up in the spring, and which are starting now, and it starts with mosquitoes. The coronavirus is transferred through the air. The animal viruses are generally transferred through mosquitoes, and then transferring blood from one animal to the next. And so anything that you can get that reduces the spread of mosquitoes is a tactic of warfare against the animal-borne viruses.
So did I hear you say it's the coronavirus began in mosquitoes?
No, coronavirus is an airborne virus, whereas the animal-borne viruses are mosquito.
I see.
That's the difference. These viruses really have ancient origins, and it's not something that just shows up on our planet at one time or another. These have gone on through the ancient days and mutate and change, and so we get these different viruses. We don't know how to deal with them because we don't have any type of treatments that will help until one is discovered, and then we move on to a new virus. And that's just been the pattern throughout history. But with animals, it's sometimes we just forget that they're very susceptible to mosquitoes, and not that people aren't, because we're susceptible to their transfer of disease and virus too, the mosquitoes. But we don't want to forget the old animal out there that we have on our place, and there's thousands and thousands of people that have animals.
What about dogs? What about pets?
Pets can be given these different viruses also. We don't hear as much about pet infection just because most of the pets are inside and don't have as much contact with area with standing water. And that's where our livestock has problem is that there's areas of standing water, which are really breeding grounds for mosquitoes and bacteria and rodents and all kinds of pesky critters that pose problems to our animals. And so our drinkers, our waterers, there's no standing water in these units, so they don't attract mosquitoes to lay eggs in them and grow algae and become a watering unit for rodents. There's no standing water in any of these units. After the animals get finished drinking, the remaining water drains back down on the ground, leaving an empty basin. And so that's one of our main emphases is that we keep our animals safe through helping to keep the mosquito population down. And people can do that also. There's standing waters sometimes out in your field. You find a low spot that has a little area of water in it and grows algae, and those are areas that can be fixed and done away with just by leveling it and adding a little soil to it, and that's very helpful too.
What is the relationship between factory farming and antibiotics and immunity in animals?
I don't know if I know the answer to that question. It's a little outside of my expertise, but I know the antibiotics, are not. If we're going to eat an animal, like a cow or a hog, you sure don't want to have the medicines that are flowing through their body to go into our body. And it used to be that we used to eat liver a lot, pig liver and cow liver. I know when I was raised as a kid, it wasn't uncommon for my mom to put on some liver and dust it with some flour, and that's what we'd have for supper. But, that liver, all of the junk and toxins goes through that liver, and including the antibiotics and the medicines that we give. And so there are some farms that farm organically and refuse to use the antibiotics they actually lose a few more animals because it is effective, but at least the meat that is consumed by the public is not contaminated with toxins and these toxins aren't toxins that are going to kill you overnight, but accumulated over a lifetime can start to have problems.
What do you know about the whole wet market thing?
Well, I've been in the wet markets. When I've traveled to Asia and China, and I've seen their wet markets. I've bought stuff in their wet markets, and they're very interesting to go to. I mean, you'll never see anything like that in your life coming from the United States.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about it. I've seen YouTubes and stuff, but tell us from your perspective about what the wet markets are like. Tell our listeners maybe who don't know what we're talking about.
Well, it's really hard for an American to try to relate with these markets. So, some of the media I'm hearing is, we just need to close down these wet markets, and I mean that's all logical, but these wet markets are ancient cultural norms, as well as their Chinese remedies and medicines are very ancient, and a lot of those remedies come from the wet market. And so when we talk here in the United States, well, we just ought to shut those down. It's not quite that easy. It's really part of the whole fabric of Asian culture. And maybe they'll come to the conclusion themselves that, we have to put some restrictions on these wet markets to help.
Hey, Dave, we got to take a break. Hang on to that thought because I want some more details on these wet markets, and then you can talk to us a little bit about horsedrinker.com and Bar A. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Dave Anderson about livestock viruses. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Excuse me. We're talking to David Anderson, President and CEO of Bar A, and Horse Drinker. HorseDrinker.com is his website. So before we went to break, Dave, you were talking about these wet markets, but I want to know, tell me your personal experience with the wet markets. What are they like? What do they look like? What are they doing there? Give our listeners a little taste of what, no pun intended, of what's happening in these so-called wet markets.
Well, I know when I went, it was one booth that particularly stood out in my mind was hanging cobras on a rope. They were just hanging there to be used.
Alive? They were alive?
They were alive. And how you would purchase that snake is that you would purchase the blood of that snake, and they would bleed the snake out and have a cup that would catch the blood, and that cup would be put on the top of, kind of like a bar, on the top of the shelf there this blood is for men because it's said to increase the virility in men and to make them more potent.
Have you tried it?
So
did you try it?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't try it. I have tried snake bile though. I was deadly sick over there one year with a really infection in the lungs, and I couldn't find any medicine, and so they found me some snake bile, and it was kind of a yellowy substance, and it was sort of sweet, and I have tried that, and that medicine, I'm telling you, that I was healed in about a day and a half. It was gone.
So what do they say is in it? Is it just magical, or there's actually literal stuff?
There are properties in these Chinese cures that actually help, and it would be an interesting study to know what they are. But these wet markets, a lot of Chinese pharmacists will attend these wet markets to get fresh products for different composition of medicinal remedies.
Wow.
For instance, one recipe might call for a ground up bat wing. And so the pharmacist would buy some bats and take them. They're dried bats. They're not alive, but they're dried bats, and they take those back in there and they grind those products up. And usually they'll put those ground products up on a shelf so that when they need them, everything's ground and they like they need to. It could be spider parts. It could be all kinds of parts. It could be a dog liver. It could be anything. It's quite outside of our box of comfortableness. But to the Chinese and the Oriental people, it's very common, and they've grown up with it. And sometimes we might be a little too quick to judge something that is very ancient and has worked for them throughout the years. But the wet market is an interesting thing. It's said this coronavirus could have come from a snake in the wet market. And there are so many things we just don't know about this virus and the political intrigues that go on around situations like this that prove convenient for people in high places' motivations.
Now, one of the things about these wet markets is they kill the animal right there. Like
not always. Like I mentioned, there's bats dried. They've been dead for a long time. They're dried. Some of the animals they kill are like the snakes, but a lot of the other products are already dead and ready for other means. And some of the people cook with them. I mean, it could be as simple as a pig ear that people want to make some soup with. Mm-hmm. So there's edible products and there's medicinal products and there's everything. There is very little control on the cleanliness of things. So maybe that's something the Asian countries could do to help us to put some regulations on how things are done as far as making them more cleanly. But they are interesting places, anyway, I wanted to mention to you also that talking about animals, that electricity has been a great source of danger to animals in our days because people have to heat their water so the water doesn't freeze in the wintertime. And so we've developed technology that we don't need electricity to keep water from freezing in the wintertime. So their electrocution is not a risk. I mean, we had a horse facility. We're here in the Salt Lake area, and the lady had a therapeutic riding association for handicapped kids. And one morning she walked out to feed her animals. She had 9 beautiful horses, and every one of them were dead. They'd all been electrocuted by their automatic horse water. And fortunately, the community really rallied behind this lady and the organization and replaced all the horses so that the handicapped kids could come and ride and benefit from them. But nonetheless, the electricity is a real danger to horses, and our efforts is to reduce that danger to animals, and so that they get a good drink of water that tastes good, doesn't have algae growing all over it, and no chance for mosquitoes and varmints to contaminate the water. And that's basically really our goal, is to provide something for animals that is very healthy and beneficial to the owner also.
What exactly is the relationship between what you guys provide, bar A, and standing water, and I guess also electrocution, I suppose, would be associated with that?
Well, standing water is really common. I've traveled throughout Europe and throughout the United States, and it's not uncommon to in the rural areas to see an old bathtub out in the pasture, and they put it out there and they put water in that bathtub, and a lot of times you'll just see algae and stuff growing on top of that water, and so the animals have to drink out of that. Now, there's some people that dump those out every week, waste a lot of water, dump the water out and refill it, and that's very good, the people that will do that. But clean water for their animals, but mostly these tanks that hold water all over the country are really breeding grounds for the mosquitoes and really endanger their animals through different viruses.
So what is it that you provide? What is, you have certain equipment or you have a patent on something?
Yeah, we do have patented products, but none of our watering systems have any standing water. So when the animal, they're kind of like a drinking fountain for people. So when you go up to a drinking fountain, there's no standing water. You have to suck out of the basin. You turn on the switch and it flows right out of the thing and you drink it fresh. And that's the same concept we use for animals. The animal pushes on a little paddle with their nose and the water comes up. They get their drink. When they get done drinking, the remaining water drains back down into the ground and leaves an empty bowl. So there's no chance for mosquito larvae to accumulate, or algae or bacteria, or a raccoon or a rat coming over to drink out of a standing water type of a machine.
Well, it sounds like common sense.
It is common sense. And
did you invent the machine? Is it your machine?
It is. Yep. It's our invention.
Sometimes the simplest things make the best inventions for some reason. People don't think of the simplest little things. You say, why didn't I think of that? All right, David Anderson, thank you so much. Appreciate that, and thank you for the education on the wet markets. I had never met anybody who had actually been to a wet market. So you're one of the few people you could say I've actually seen snake blood and snake bile, and I heard they had monkeys there too. Is that right?
They do. Yeah, they do.
They got all kinds of stuff. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate it, and thank you for being on the bright side. David Anderson, horsedrinker.com, bar a horse and livestock drinkers. I can't say I ever knew anything about livestock drinkers. In any case, I was interesting about the dried bats, and maybe I should go check out some of these wet markets and see the pharmaceutical remedies. And I have to admit, I was one of those people who kind of look down my nose at the idea of killing animals right in front of you and using snakes and monkeys and dogs as medicine. But I guess it's worked for the Chinese for 5,000 years or so. So who am I to say? Anyway, thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Please check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products. And Truth Skin Health products can all be had at truthtreatments.com. We've got a special running on our Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream. That's truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, vegetable oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth treatments. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.